and welcome to this tag facilitated training video on programs. Programs are local government or community initiatives that can support communities during crises or lessen the severity of the shocks in the game. Examples include an urban forest strategy that involves planting 10,000 trees to increase canopy over suburbs, footpaths, and open spaces, or a solar savers program that gives rebates for rooftop solar panel systems and solar hot water systems. The programs are one of the elements of the game that we customize for each partner we work with. These are actual projects that either exist or are about to be implemented, and they're here to educate players about things that are happening and the kinds of things that local governments do in general. When you set up the game, you'll put all the programs here at the bottom of the board. When I introduce the programs to players, I often tell them that this is the space of ideas and dreams. Players get to vote on which programs they want to move from the space of ideas into pre-launch and then from pre-launch into launched. There are 2 steps because we're trying to be realistic about how long things take to happen. If I'm playing a shorter game, I might let players move a project directly to launched. How many programs do players get to move? The answer to this is in the community resilience track at the top of the board. Here is the building icon that represents local government, and here are numbers that tell you how many programs players can move during the program step. At the start of the game, the heart token's here. Then when we read the news, the community resilience goes down 1 place. So by the time we vote on programs, we have 2 points to spend. That means 2 programs can move 1 space along the track, from idea to pre-launch or from pre-launch to launch. Once you've explained all of that to your players, it's time to dive in. First, give your players time to absorb and read about the programs for themselves. I usually invite them to stand up and move around the table so they can all read them at the same time. We don't want to dwell on this step too long, so don't read them out aloud. After a few minutes, I might ask, what are you thinking? Who's got a program they want to put forward? Let players have a bit of conversation about which programs they like best, and then ask them to vote. An easy way to do this is to ask them to take their 2 fingers and point to which 2 programs they like best. Again, we don't want to get hung up on this part of the game. Its purpose is educational rather than increasing player agency. So if your players are having trouble making a decision, you can take on the role of counsel and make the final call. Once players have voted, you can read the titles of the chosen programs and move them along the track. When a program hits launched, you can flip it over and read the news on the back of the card. For example, a cool summer. Vic will finally have a way to keep his elderly parents cool this year after applying for a solar panel rebate. That's the end of the program step in the adaptation phase, but it's not the end of talking about programs. There's 2 other major moments in the game when programs come up again. One is when you introduce a shock. You can ask players whether any of the programs they voted for are lessening the impact of the shock or supporting the community in their hour of need. Then you can choose to adjust the shock impact accordingly. The other time you might mention programs is during the resolution phase at the end of the round. You can increase the community resilience track for each program that has been launched to reflect the impact of programs on community well-being. And that's it. That's all you need to know about programs to play the adaptation game. Next, you'll be introducing a shock.